Good evening. This is CTV News for Wednesday, November 25th. I'm Patricia Vallone. Thank you for joining us this evening. Well, Deon Warren kept his head lowered throughout much of his sentencing this morning. Warren pleaded guilty to second-degree murder for the October 2014 killing of Mitchell White outside the Bel Air Swim and Racket Club in Bowie. Part of the incident was captured on this cell phone video where you can see White trying to break up a fight between his 16-year-old son and another teen. Warren approaches from the left, produces a handgun, and shoots White at point-blank range. Today, a judge sentenced him to 30 years in prison.
A sentence that we feel is very appropriate in this case. Mr. Warren, I know, made the claim that this was an accident and not something that he intended to do, but certainly once you bring a handgun into a fist fight, you rack that weapon, you wave it around recklessly, showing complete disregard for everyone's life. You have to be held accountable.
Mitchell was a good man. He was a good, faithful parent, and he loved his children. And when he stepped in, he only wanted to get his child away, to take him home and get him to safety. And this is what I believe, because that's the way he was.
The morning before it happened, he was mad at me, and I didn't get to tell him I loved him. And I just want him to know that I love him with all my heart. And I could never go to sleep without my father. And he would always rock me to sleep, and I was Daddy's little girl. And it hurts my heart to know that I can never see him again.
Today's courtroom was packed mostly with supporters of the defendant, including Warren's grandfather, a local pastor who spoke on his behalf. But the judge concluded that Warren never utilized the support of his community and followed the prosecution's recommendation to implement a tough sentence. Well, as we reported earlier this week, housing officials in Prince George's County are working on implementing a smoking ban in all public housing. Tonight, our Byron Scott reports on a longtime smoker who opposes the new policy.
But as you get older, you realize it was a bad decision.
Clarence McDowney has been smoking for 50 years. He is 66 and at one point was up to 2 packs a day.
It looked cool, you know, and I decided to try it.
McDowney lives in public housing in Marlboro Town Apartments in District Heights. You tried the nicotine patch?
Right, and the nicotine gum.
Didn't work?
No.
But soon, he and many others who live in public housing in the county will have to stop smoking, at least inside their apartments.
It's not just you, it's your neighbors as well, it's the children, and so it's a secondhand smoke. That's the real issue.
County housing officials are working on a policy change that will prohibit smoking inside all public housing units in Prince George's or within 50 feet of the property.
It is the housing authority's property, and one of our rules will be you can't smoke in our buildings, period.
And while it may sound extreme to some, violators could face eviction.
But to accept people as smokers and then to come up and say, well, you can no longer smoke. It's a hard pill to swallow, you know.
There are 376 public housing units here in Prince George's County among 5 properties, 2 high-rises, and 3 low-rise complexes. Now, earlier this year, the Housing Authority did a survey of all the residents, and in some of those properties, as many as 50% of the residents are smokers.
To me, it's like having a child that's 2 years old, and you allow this child to eat candy up until the age of 6 or 7. And then all of a sudden, you just want to take the candy away. Well, it's going to be difficult for that child to understand.
Over the past 2 months, McDowney, who has the lung disease COPD, has whittled his habit down to 3 cigarettes a day.
You know, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 late evening.
His wife quit last week.
We just want to take extra steps.
Earlier this year, housing officials held meetings with residents to talk about the plan.
From that, we try to link them up with cessation programs.
It should be fully implemented in 2 months. In District Heights, Byron Scott, CTV News.
And the federal agency HUD is considering a proposal that would prohibit smoking in all public housing nationwide. Well, the College Park City Council unanimously votes to recommend revoking the license of Backyard Sports Grill, according to the Diamondback. The property at the corner of Route 1 and Hartwick Road has been the site of 2 altercations since July. The restaurant was found to have violated its entertainment permit by hiring a promoter and failing to bring in an off-duty police officer as security. The Prince George's Board of License Commissioners suspended its permit October 27th. A hearing has been set for December 2nd. Well, today is one of the most hectic times of the year to travel. People across the country are getting in their cars, making their way to train stations, and heading to the airports. AAA Mid-Atlantic says that 1.15 million residents in the Washington metro region will hit the roads this Thanksgiving Day season. However, the agency predicts that commuters traveling by air and automobile will be down by 0.9%. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone.